Hi, mining community. Welcome back to another episode of the Dig Deep, the mining podcast, the show that brings you the latest insights, thought leadership, and stories from across the global mining industry. In today's show, we have Mostafa Taalat, who's the CEO of Ankh Resources, a company gaining attention for its exploration success at the Wadi Dara project in Egypt. With recent drilling and trenching delivering encouraging gold and copper results, Ankh Resources positions itself at the forefront of Egypt's re-emerging mining sector. Mostafa brings extensive experience in the region, combining with strong technical expertise with a clear vision for building a modern exploration company. In this conversation, we're going to explore the potential of Wadi Dara, the broader opportunity within Egypt, how exploration companies like Ankh Resources are navigating the path from discovery to actually development. And we're going to talk a lot more about some other subjects as well. So, Mostafa, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
Thanks, Rob. I'm doing very well. Thanks for hosting me today.
Yeah, great to have you on the podcast. Obviously, at the time of this recording, there is a thunderstorm going over, so I can hear you clearly, and hopefully the audience can as well. But we still carry on, just like in mining. Doesn't matter what the weather is, we still carry on mining. So, I wondered if you can just tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your career, your experience, and how your career has developed from when you first got into the industry to what it is today.
Thanks, Rob. As by mean of introduction, my name is Mostafa Taalat. I'm a mining engineer. I started my mining pathway in Sukkari Gold Mine when it was just starting the development phase. I was lucky to join the industry at that exciting time for Egypt, first gold mining history ever in the modern history. Then I traveled in multiple countries, worked for a little bit outside of Egypt, came back in 2015, and then I started with my co-founding partners, the first technical services company in Egypt. And this was based mainly on the expertise that myself and my partners got from working in Sukkari and outside of Egypt. Between 2015 and 2020, we have seen the government of Egypt are putting serious plans trying to increase or maximize the contribution of the mining to the GDP from 1% to 5%, which is a very aggressive plan. And this led to a great change in the mining landscape of Egypt by introducing the new rent, royalty, and tax system in 2020. At this time, we were much inspired to also initiate Ankh Resources, our exploration company, which we participated in 2021 bid round of Egypt, got access to Wadi Dara, which was our priority. Then we started engaging in exploration until we are here today, and we have very good and exciting results that we will share with the audience. So this is in short about myself and what I have been doing, and looking forward for developing Egypt's first gold copper modern mining history.
Yeah. Obviously, before we go into speaking about Ankh Resources, and obviously we're going to discuss Egypt's mining sector, I suppose what first brought you into the industry? In obviously many years ago, what made you decide to join the mining sector?
Well, I was studying mining engineering, and at that time, gold mining industry was not yet that much popular in Egypt. We all know about the history of the sector, but it was nothing in the horizon. And Santamin was the only company which is now acquired by Anglo Gold Ashanti, trying to develop its first gold mining history, in Egypt. And this was prestigious enough for any mining engineer to love to join and contribute in this, it's an amazing mine site. If you see it, and any company who come and visit this site will always see something that's highly impressive. So it was really exciting for me that I'm just a fresh graduate, and the mines is just about development. And this is the right time for any mining engineer to be lucky enough to join this kind of industry. It's lots of learning, working in setting up a new site. And we managed to do it in a best possible way. And people till today still see Sukkari as a unique operating mine in the Arab Nubian Shield.
Yeah, it certainly is. So moving on, I wondered if you can just tell us, give us a snapshot of Ankh Resources. If you can tell the audience a little bit about the company.
Well, the company is established in Jersey, UK jurisdiction, mainly for the purpose of participating in Egypt's best round as initial start, with an ambition to become one of the best explorers in the Arab Nubian Shield region. You know, Arab Nubian Shield is one of the last underexplored frontiers in the world, where possibility for having big discoveries for gold and precious metals is high. So, being a homegrown expert in Egypt and seeing the momentum that was created by the introduction of the new mining code and big mining companies like Barrick came to join greenfield exploration. So this was very inspiring for us to establish Ankh, and we were supported by angel investors who were not much from the mining industry pool, but they were always keen to find the right opportunity to invest in a greenfield exploration opportunity that will be managed by experts, especially if they are homegrown experts, which means lots of facilitation for the work that you need to achieve. With the access we have to the right pool of talents from the local side and a solid network we managed to build and strengthen during the 10 years of having service provision in Egypt with the government,
Hi.
and the seriousness of and the commitment of the government itself in trying to do more every single day about how they can add more mining companies to the sector. We were lucky and to be able to do this in a timely manner, and we accessed the ground from day one with the full structure of an operation team managed by an exploration manager with more than 25 years of experience inside Egypt, working with Sukkari, Santamin, and also Anglo Gold Ashanti when they were exploring in Egypt back in the days, 2017. So we built up a very good, solid, competent team, and we hit the ground running. We had access to all the supplies and the logistics that we needed to start a smooth kind of operation. Lucky enough that Egypt is having the privilege of all the year around operation style, that we don't have much of rain seasons that can stop your operations. What's happening today as we are speaking is a rare occasion that happens once a year when we have one day of thunderstorms or rains. So the results also that was initially indicated when we were looking at the concession of Wadi Dara to acquire were really encouraging, especially that the mine site of Dara have been actively exploiting gold and copper for the pharaohs and Romans in the history of Egypt mining sector. So again, every day we see that the Wadi Dara is keep giving us lots of good surprises that's keeping us inspired and willing to do more for this.
This episode is sponsored by Mining International. In today's market, finding the right mining talent isn't easy. Mining International works closely with mining companies to identify and secure senior and technical professionals through a tailored search approach. If you're hiring or exploring your options, you can contact Rob Tyson via the show notes to start a conversation today.
Yeah, your drilling and trenching at Wadi Dara has returns from obviously strong gold copper intercepts. What do these results tell you about obviously the scale and potential of the system that you're actually exploring?
During our initial geological reconnaissance for the project, we have identified like around 4 kilometer strike length of mineralization in gold and copper. In the 2 dimensions, this is an indication for a big system to chase after. When we started doing the detailed trenching and sampling for the prospect, we came with results like as good as 8 meters with 3 gram per ton of gold and 1.9% copper content. We had several good results, again, like 12 meter at 2.1 gram, all this coming on the surface. So the indications been always going towards the direction of a tier 1 scale discovery that will be a rich system containing or hosting gold and copper, both in a commercially viable way to be exploited. And since since the initial results have been indicated, our investors have been supporting the company, and we have been adding more prestigious investors every year. And we have been progressing in the most on the best possible way in creating value for our shareholders and also for the communities who are around us in the mine site where we are exploring at the moment.
With trenching now confirming high-grade mineralisation at surface and drilling and identifying deeper structural zones, what are the key exploration milestones investors should actually watch out for?
Well, we just announced like a couple of weeks ago about one of the drill holes that we have managed to bring back the results so far is having 102 meter of continuous mineralization at 0.3 gram and 0.3% copper. So again, when we decided to go for drilling, we decided to drill diamond drilling and deep holes. All our drilling program was running like 500 meter. We are lucky that so far our drill rate success is like almost 100%. All the drill holes that we are drilling, the results are bringing back better than what we expect them to find. So we keep having good news to be shared with our investors, like on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, especially that our drill provider and lab provider are really doing a great job in the turnaround time for bringing back our results. So again, our investors are highly excited to see the drill results. They were already not much aware about the subsurface risk and how the results can sometimes bring inconvenient results. But since we started our diamond drilling campaign, we have been reached out by our current and also new potential investors who would love to join us in our success story. So
You've worked extensively in Egypt's mining sector. What insights or experiences have been sort of most valuable in building Ankh Resources and advancing, obviously, the Wadi Dara project?
well, our project is uniquely positioned in the far north of the Eastern Desert. We have worked across the Eastern Desert north to south. And when we decided to pick up our own prospect on top of the geological potential and the prospectivity, the logistical side was also important for us to consider. So we decided to participate or join the mining exploration sector in Wadi Dara in the far north, where it's really giving lots of logistical advantage and cost-saving benefits for our operations. Like we are only located 3.5 hours from Cairo International Airport. We sometime or many times during the year we host people in a program. I call it 7 to 7 to Dara, by bringing people from the airport at 7 a.m., take them to the site, make the site tour, inspection, have a nice barbecue lunch, go back to the airport by 7 p.m. So this is something that puts an A+ for the logistics and security of our plot and where we are exploring at the moment. We are only 3.5 hours away from DP World Seaport, which is the second biggest one in the world, which facilitates all the importation required to be able to develop a mine in Egypt, So it was not only geology, it was geology, logistics, safety, access to supplies where we are operating also. It's the same city where billions of US$ have been invested in the oil and gas sector since the 60s, and all the international and the global oil producers are operating within the same city where we are. So this is a reflection on the security for the FDIs to start flowing into a project that is highlighting for today's modern mining supply, a gold and copper project in a tier 1 scale. So this is something that we always happy to share, and also always keep us more excited to do more for this project until we will see producing and developing.
Yeah, certainly. Exploration success often comes down to having the right, obviously, geological model. What gave you the confidence early that Wadi Dara could host obviously a significant gold copper system?
Mm-hmm. The historical mine leads on site are showing high grade concentrates. That's when the pharaohs and Romans started exploiting the resource from our prospect, but also the extensive work that our team have managed to to generate from the ground, have always been giving us the indications that this system on the surface, where we can see it obviously, is big. But what also is lying beneath it can be bigger, because we have two main prospects in our concession. Both are in the same strike zone of the 4 kilometer. But in between them, we have a wadi, which is like 500-meter wide, which still have not yet been discovered what's lying beneath. Now, with the drilling results, we start having indication, and it's confirmed the positivity of having the mineralization running beyond the wadi. So again, we may only so far have discovered the tip of the iceberg, and the rest is still lying beneath, which we are working on. Now we have a 2-year drilling program of 26 and 27 to drill 40,000 meters more. And by this, we will be able to consolidate a resource that can be an inferred resource, reflecting how big the discovery will look like and how much more we can add into the ounces to this discovery until we take it to the production.
As the CEO of an exploration company and being an engineer, how do you balance technical exploration decisions with obviously commercial realities of building a mining company?
We understand fully that we are working in a relatively new jurisdiction to most of the mining investors, or most of the global mining investors. And that make us go in our steps, like, very carefully. We adopted, even in the fundraising campaign strategy for the last 3 years, 1 year by 1 year. So the more the results are giving us better guidance on how much more we need to invest without rushing into conclusions, is what we have been doing. And now, since the government is doing lots of promotion for the mining industry, you have seen during this year that the Egyptian Ministry of Petroleum and Mining have been participating in most of the known global mining events, trying to promote for the sector. So this again brings more attention from the more institutional mining investors, who would love to see other jurisdictions with the appetite for less risk and also good discoveries. So we are trying to balance between what we find and what we need to spend on this. Both aim to bring the best possible value creation model for our shareholders. Our company is still running privately. We may have an IPO listing plan by the second half of 27. Again, with more exploration companies coming to Egypt and the more popularity of the jurisdiction, the more our project and similar projects also will have the chance and the good luck in accessing the finance needed to be able to develop big mines.
Egypt's mining sector has been obviously gaining renewed international interest in obviously more recent years. From your perspective, what makes the country increasingly attractive for exploration companies, whether they're within Africa or even further afield globally?
It's very well known for everyone, the potential, because of the pre-existing history of the mining of precious metals. Everyone comes to Egypt to visit the museums to see the gold of the kings, So it's known to be a potentially rich jurisdiction with the biggest operating gold mine in the Arab-Nubian Shield region, located in Egypt, which is Sukari Gold Mine. So imagine a country that have no much of modern mining history, and the only mine operating started with a 13 million ounce. So this is a reflection on how good the quality of the resources can be. You can add to this the stability of the region. You see, Egypt have been running in a very steady regime for the last decade or more, building up every year more opening doors for foreign direct investments in multiple sectors. It's not only about the mining and the petroleum. You can see that lots of manufacturers from across the globe now are coming to start their manufacturing hubs in the Middle East region, and they choose Egypt. So Egypt offers a North Africa stable region with a fresh mining code built for attracting investments and mining investors and serious mining investors. And even the new mining code that was issued in 2020, when it needed some more refining to happen, the government was proactive to work hand to hand with the big mining companies until they reached the best possible model, which was signed off last year by AngloGold Ashanti already as an operator in Egypt. And this, again, reflection on the seriousness of the government trying to promote the mining sector and increase the contribution of the mining sector to the total GDP. And again, the people who may be having investments in other African jurisdictions, which sometimes facing turbulence, will find a very good, second leg to put in Africa, with the potential of resources yet is big, and more discoveries are expected to be discovered. And again, the cost profile for operating in Egypt is much competitive to other jurisdictions, considering the logistics and the availability. The manpower, we are a 100 million nation with the average age, I think, is between 25 to 30. So the workforce in Egypt is not much an issue. So again, put all this together and you'll find a good welcoming jurisdiction that's now ready to absorb more mining investments to come.
Yeah. And globally, obviously, there's a strong demand for both copper and gold.
Yeah.
How do you see projects like Wadi Dara fitting into the broader supply picture?
We are lucky being exploring in gold and copper when the global demand, you see the supply for copper for the next 20 years is more than what was exploited during the last 100 years. So the continuity of trying to find big scale mines all over the world is high. Many investors now are having more appetite to look at mining sectors. Some years, investments have been distracted by other opportunities, but now mining is picking up again because you can't complete the AI technology required. You can't go into the green energy transformation required. All this without having enough copper supply. Gold have been always working as a safe haven, for the stability, for the governments, even for the usual people to retain the value for the longer term. So the demand on the gold, I think it will be forever. Nobody will ever reject the gold as the ultimate value saver, or it's the best thing that you can have in your hand now is a gold and the copper. Both provides the right balance for any modern mining company to attract investors and also to be able to push the wheel to the best possible resources that you can find.
And lastly, and concluding, what's the outlook for Ankh Resources over the short to medium term? So if we look obviously over the next sort of 12 to 18 months.
We are highly focused in the next 12 to 28 months in bringing the resource or building the resource and delineate an inferred resource as much as we can by the end of 2027. And this is what we are all taking very seriously. Myself, our teams, our operations, and everyone in the organization is working day and night in achieving the best possible resource that we can get by concluding the drill program that we have in hand now. And we expect that this drill program will open more door for more investments to flow into the project, because you will still need to upgrade the inferred resource to a proven to be able to make a bankable feasibility study. So again, we still have lots of challenges and lots of opportunities to look at in the near future and in the longer term. But this is what we are currently focused and motivated to do.
Mostafa, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for coming on the podcast. Tell us all about Ankh Resources, explaining obviously the mining industry in Egypt, and obviously wish you well with the project at Wadi Dara, and hopefully have some very good further exploration success. If our audience wants to reach out to you, if they want to obviously follow the story, follow all the news flow, how can they go about doing that, and what social media platform channels are you on?
Well, we have our website, ankresources.com. We have our LinkedIn page. And also, Radia is now working with our PR teams on doing more than one account in the X and Instagram and all the social media that people would love to follow in case they want to know more about Ankh Resources.
Yeah, great. And we'll include those all in the show notes that accompany this podcast for easy access and for our audience to follow the story and reach out if they have any questions they want to ask you. So all the best for the remainder of the year, and hopefully you can come on the podcast next year and give us an update.
Thanks, Rob. It was really enjoyable being with you, and I hope we have given a good story for the audience.
Yeah, you certainly have. Thank you again.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you very much for listening. Hope you enjoyed that episode. As always, appreciate your continued support. This podcast was focused on obviously gold and copper, and obviously focusing on Egypt. And I don't think we've had really any other podcasts focusing on Egypt as a mining jurisdiction. So I appreciate if you could share this episode far and wide, not just with people in Egypt or even people with others in Africa, but obviously globally. We want to educate the mining industry on various subjects and various obviously jurisdictions. So I appreciate if you can share this episode far and wide. Thank you again for listening, and until next time, happy mining.